Morning guys, hope you're doing okay. We're going to start with gold because this is going to be a huge mover among other commodities including oil and silver and all sorts of things like palladium, platinum, anything that's graded against USD. It's going to move a lot, especially in the commodity arena. So currently with gold is that we're making a sell because they're going long. So if they continue the next 40 minutes, we'll create a box here. So 1901, 1913. We can't create a box yet because we want to see more sustained move, and we are sideways. So theoretically, you could look to short to a stop at 1913. It's not too expensive. It's a little bit wide, and ideally you'd want that to really not go sideways. You'd want it to be ticking up. If it goes up, it's going to really fall. We've got some support here, 1874. So your stop loss could be here, and you could TP in this box. The reason for this box is that they sold it, and so therefore they got punished. So that's how it works, okay? They're great punishment zones, these. They give us support and resistance levels. So if they go on a particular way, we see a little dip into their break even, and up will come, right? So it's potentially what might happen is that we're going to fall, and we're going to find some support, 1877 area, and your stop loss could be there. Personally, I'm not going to trade this one. I'm going to wait for the CPI, and then I'm going to trade something after, but I don't think it will be gold. I think it might be a dollar pair potentially, and if we look at the bubbles, in fact, we can see what could be a good trade, and it might be the Kiwi versus the USD. But you'd obviously want that to be a bit lower down and the USD to be over here. So NU long might be a good trade, and of course we'd want to be seeing some risk on the indices as well, because that's going to help the New Zealand dollar. But I don't know yet for sure, so I might just be sitting on my hands today, to be honest with you, and then waiting for the aftermath of the CPI. And we've got PPI tomorrow, which is something that Powell's going to be monitoring as well. So potentially NU long. Potentially. Okay, so let's go back here. All depends on the CPI. If it comes in soft or higher than expected, it's just a bit of a gamble, isn't it? So S&P sideways, so we can't really say anything there whatsoever. No commentary. US 30 sideways. So I can't comment on that. And DAX, they've gone long, so we're going to fall. And we're probably going to break 14,880 because of that. Now, however, if they sell this, which it makes sense they would because it's quite heavy, then we'll make a buy, and then this would be a support. So very, very tricky here. So going to set up a trap, I think. And then it's going to fall, and it should encourage them to sell. You'd think after seeing it fall, they would sell it, but it might hold on. Right, so you've got to be really careful. Done gold, made a buy, making a buy, should we say? So we've got some support, 106.83, and we can see a fairly decent trend here forming, and we're above this resistance level. That was the resistance level that got me a little bit chopped up because I was buying into that, and then it got me out of break even. And it's just one of those things. So it's a good job that I got out at break even, because it would have meant a loss, and I would have had to have got out. But of course, the market being the market that it is, it rallied, and you can see it really chopped quite a lot here. It's really struggling. Pump, pump, pump. So an eye on these lows, 106.83, 106.77. And we'll cover the SLCs and the monthly pivots on the Patreon video. We made a buy on UJ, 133.04. So remember the Dixie chart as well. So me thinking about a Kiwi USD long might not be so good if the Dixie gets 103.66 or 103.52. Can you see this this area here? We're above that. And then you're probably going to target this, potentially. So we've got some support on the Dixie Daily. So you probably look for dollar weakness below 103.04. So we are currently chopping in this area here. So I think perhaps I'm just going to sit on my hands, potentially look for a Kiwi USD long, How are we? So we are negative, and Kiwi USD has got some supply to contend with here as well. We are just sitting on it. We actually are hitting it, and it's respecting that resistance. So it might be that the New Zealand dollar bubble might be a little bit tricky to trade today. 62.21, 6 pips shy. So you can see how this is a decent resistance. Above 62.84, up will come and might challenge this. So obviously really good support. Near-term resistance there. So very tricky, and that's just today's. So I think probably possibly just sit on my hands, I think, and then we're going to see what that data says later. And this would have been the trade of the day for a sell, but we can see how it's looking fairly strong, sort of trending higher on the daily. So got to be really careful. And I'll do a Patreon video now. And fingers crossed, things don't go to pot, because our risk calculation is quite off today on our risk calc. And it's possibly that we're going to have a really ugly day because of this and this. Okay, so 26.5 is your yearly pivot, and they've really got hounded down on their positions. And another day like this tomorrow, we're going to be nearing the risk off at the big picture. So we see we are crushing on the VIX slightly. This is updated in real time, so this is a good thing to measure. Below 26.5, it might be okay, and we can maybe rally on indices. But as for the New Zealand USD, it's going to require quite a lot of care, because dollar's got some support, Dixie's got some support on the daily, and the New Zealand dollar USD has got some resistance on the daily. So above that resistance, it's going to be a nice trade. So I'll wrap up now, and I'll speak to you guys soon.